Welcome, family, to another episode of the Midnight Moods podcast. It's season 2. It's Coco the Conscious, aka Mr. Moods. It's conscious conversations, real talk with real ones. And our real one for today, our special guest is Yvonne Diep. That's right, author and writer and friend. Yvonne, what up? How are you?
Thank you so much. Good. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast.
Course.
I really appreciate it.
I had to get you here.
Thank you. For everyone who doesn't know, it's been almost 5-6 years since we've actually seen each other. So
Literally.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute, and it's amazing. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for accepting the invite. And thank you for
course.
doing what you do, which we're going to get into, because Yvonne does some amazing musing mosaic.
That's right.
It's crazy because your page, I remember when you were posting stuff on your story. I was like, man, these posts are deep. Like I'm gonna go to this page. I'm like, man, this musing mosaic page, they got some real stuff. And then it took me like a while to realize it was actually your page, and you were writing all of them. Yeah. Wow. And I was like, this is the very beginning. I don't know if you were writing your name under them at that point.
I actually wasn't.
Yeah, and I was just like, and then I put two and I'm like, this is Yvonne. Like, this is what she's writing. And I was just like, a light bulb moment. I'm like, wow.
Wow. So I tell you what, it actually took me more than 2 years to actually own up to that work. So I'm not surprised that you or someone else would see my personal Instagram sharing that and not actually knowing that that's my actual work, because I was so scared.
Yeah.
I was so scared.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I don't blame you for not knowing.
So it was kind of on purpose?
Yeah, kind of on purpose.
Wow.
Like I kind of wanted to, half of me wanted to put my work out there, right?
Yeah.
But the other half of me didn't want to go all the way. And I didn't want to put my name to it. I was so scared of what people would think.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So what made you kind of own your title? Do you know what I mean? Because how long did it take for you to be like, okay, no, this is my page?
It took more than 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was doing it I wouldn't say in secret, but honestly, I only told my handful of friends.
Yeah.
Probably 5 or 6 people. My closest circle of friends only knew about it, and no one else knew about it. And I just kind of thought I'd live this double life or something.
Yeah.
And just kind of write under a different name.
Yeah.
And after 1 or 2 years, I just kind of wanted to take it to the next level, and I just wanted to own my work, right? I would see so many people out there, such as people creating music, people writing stories, people just owning their art. And the biggest thing is just owning it, right?
Yep.
So I really thought it was time for me to just not care about what people think and just own what I did, what I loved.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Of course. It's tough, that it took those two, but it's all part of the process.
100%. Yeah, it was so scary for me.
And it's good to kind of see did you kind of want to see how everyone was responding to it, not knowing it's you?
Yeah.
And did it make a difference, do you think?
It didn't make a difference because when I reposted it or when I shared it, no one really connected with the words, because it was just I was just reposting things that might not even connect with people. And I realized that when people actually know the source of who the author is, where it comes from, maybe the meaning behind it, what the purpose is, people kind of connect to it a lot more when they know the deeper message.
Yep.
So I actually found that when I actually owned up to it, I received more of a positive response as opposed to when I was just kind of reposting it without any relevance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting how that works.
Yeah.
I think it's because you just see it's another human, and if it's one of your friends and stuff,
that's exactly
it's they can connect to you better.
That's
do you know
exactly
what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when we buy a product from this huge label, we don't really know what's been done to it. But if we see a local business or something, we kind of know the backstory behind it. We kind of connect with them a lot more. So it's kind of like that. Yeah.
I love that. I like that a lot. I feel like that's what we're moving into, because the last podcast I had, Faye, she does op shopping, and she was talking about that, about how it's important to go to like, you know, places where you connect with the
100%.
store or how it's made, because we don't know where our clothes are made or
That's
how
exactly
they're made.
right.
Like food, you know, instead of going to
Yeah.
like a Macca's or something, you go to like a nice little family business restaurant.
That's exactly
and
right.
you see the process, the family behind it. The food's even sweeter because of the love they put into it.
The reason why it's there, why they made the dishes the way they do. I think everyone's just so interested in the story behind things. So that makes it a lot more powerful.
Yes, the story behind it. That's the key right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that as a segue to get into
All
your
right, let's
story.
do it.
Come on, man. So what was like the cat? Like, how did you start writing these muses, these quotes, these inspirational little dimes?
That's a great question, and obviously I do get that a lot, right? And I don't know, I don't want to disappoint you, but there is no big revelation that happened to me. Like, there was no one pivoting moment where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to start doing this. But the reason why I started doing it, with a bit of backstory, is ever since I was young, I don't know why and how, but I just fell into reading and writing. I remember like reading my first book at like 6 years old.
Wow.
And I remember like writing, I think when I was about 6 or 7, my mum gave me this little diary. And she was just like, oh, you should just like write about your day and journal in it. Yeah. And I think when you were younger, you always did this thing where you write like, dear diary, like today I blah, 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 as a little girl, right? Yeah. And so that's what I started doing. And I started writing more about my day, and I started writing more and more. And I remember when I was in primary school, honestly, in like year 3 or year 4, I wrote this long story, and it filled up a whole exercise book at school, but it was about trash. It was about like things that didn't even make sense.
But
like
still,
the dumbest things ever. Maybe about like a girl going to the pool and like seeing the water, and just like really dumb nonsense. But I found that I really just liked writing. And then as I grew older, about when I was 12 or 13, I started realizing that I had this revelation where we live a lot of our days, but we don't actually remember what happened. So if I asked you, for example, what did you do, Coco, 3 weeks ago? You know, or 3 weekends ago, who were you with? What did you do? How did you feel? What was your mood like? Were you feeling happy? Were you low? Were you struggling with something? Most of us wouldn't even remember. I mean, I don't even remember what I did last weekend, let alone 3 weekends ago, right?
Yeah.
So I had this revelation, and I started to journal and document what I did every night or every day. And a huge part of why I did this was, I think high school or primary school, sometimes periods get a bit rocky for us. You know, you go through growth, you go through transition. Going to an all-girls school, there are hormones everywhere. People were trying to navigate through life. You had the stresses of studying and everything. So from about year 6 or 7, I started keeping this journal that I would write every night just to like document my life. And that's pretty much how it all started. Wow. I've got books and books, physical books and books of like pages and pages of my journals back in when I was high school, throughout when I was working at the staff, for example. And to this day, I've still kept that habit. So I still write every day about my day. Like, for example, tonight I'll go home and I'll journal, and I'll be like, today I went on Coco's podcast, Midnight Moods.
Let's go. Yeah.
So everything that I've done, everyone that I've hung out with, everything that I felt, I've just tried to document it as much as possible.
That's amazing,
So then that aspect of writing kind of fed into something bigger. I really wanted to just use my love for writing and my love for expressing things into something that would like connect people together. Because what I realized is we all go through heaps of different things. So I guess the basis of my writing is we all go through different things. We all feel different. We all go through different things, and so many different things happen to us. But at the end of the day, we experience the same emotions. So for example, we experience the same sadness and anger and jealousy and whatever it may be, but it's just external factors that influence this. And the biggest thing to heal from that, or to understand how that affects us, is to connect with people through these experiences. So for example, you just told me about your surgery, right? And you must have gone through a lot of difficulties and challenges. And how I can connect with that is I've also gone through a surgery. I did my ACL like 5 years ago now. And I understood what you meant when you were struggling to walk, because I struggled to walk then. And you must have gone through so many challenges of just like learning to walk again. Exactly that, right? You pretty much, there was everything that you could have done, and then just one moment later, you just lost all of that again, right? You had to build it from ground up. So all of these experiences, I kind of wanted to put that through writing, whether it be like death of a loved one, or something as simple as just feeling left out, or not feeling good enough, self-doubt, all of those things that are human nature to feel that might not actually get expressed as commonly. That's what I tried to kind of bring out and say that it's okay to feel this way. That's how it all kind of got put together.
That's amazing. Yes, because I feel like a lot of them, most of them that I read speak to me.
Yeah.
And that's always like the best like quotes that I read are the ones that actually like speak to my heart or speak to a place or a state that I've been in, a feeling. And that was deep how you're saying that we all go through the same, like we all go through experiences, but it's the feel, the emotions that we all share that are the same.
And you know what you've just said, the fact that you've felt some of these quotes, it just means that we all go through the same thing. And it just means that we're not alone in this. It just kind of allows us to open up about it. If you didn't tell me before that you go through your own journey of self-doubt, your own journey of struggles, I would have never known because you can't really
tell. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
And then that makes me feel that I'm not alone in my own journey of self-doubt and all of those things. And through that, that's how we're able to conquer it, I feel.
Yes. That is so true. We have so much, like, that's the thing, like, there's a saying, like, we have more in common than, you know, a difference.
100%.
That's, that one is, it's so true.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've always been a writer.
I've always been a writer.
Those little, I know the textbooks you talk about in school.
Those textbooks, that's right. I filled it up. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Are there any? There must be some nuggets and gems in there.
There really are. Once in a while, I'll just open up like a journal.
Yeah.
And I'll just look at what I did, and a lot of them are dated like back in 2000, 2003, 2005. Wow. Ever since a few years ago, I moved it all online, so it's all in like a private WordPress, so it's just easier for me to like type it up on my laptop
always
and
typing
stuff.
It now, yeah.
But for about like 10 years back in the days when it wasn't digital, it was all handwritten.
Wow.
All about like the things I went through in school.
Yeah.
And often I'll look back at it and I'll laugh at, this is another thing that really got to me. I'll laugh at what triggered me that day, and I'll laugh at how silly it was. But back then, it felt like the end of the world, right?
Yeah.
Back then, it felt like my biggest problem ever. How am I going to overcome this? Like, this is just the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And now looking back at it, it almost gives me the strength and confidence to know if that's how I felt back then, and I understand this is how insignificant the problem is, then surely whatever I'm feeling now, 10 years later, my future me, that's just growth, right? So that also gives me the confidence to like...
Wow.
Yeah, grow
I
from
really
it.
like that. Yeah, it's true. So it's therapeutic in a way, writing all this down. Yeah,
it's therapeutic.
And learning from your past self.
That's exactly right.
Wow. That's
you
amazing.
Should do it,
I know. I should be documenting things more.
That's
I know.
Exactly right.
Like I do write, obviously, like my songs and stuff. But I was never like journaling in school, like heavy. I remember. Yeah. I think because they just painted like journaling and reading is like such a like chore. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but the fact that you kept that love, you know, that's amazing.
It is often seen as a chore. Not many people read read physical books these days, for example. And if you do, then definitely it's such a great place to learn, it's such a great place to expand your mind. But we don't have the time for it. We don't have the interest in it anymore. Not many people write physical things, for example. Yeah. So I just really like to keep that dying thing back and keep it alive.
I love that, yeah, because it's so ancient, writing and reading. That's the where it all begins. You know what I mean? Like in one of the, I don't know if it's a Bible or something, it's like it started with the word or something like that, you know. So it's always, it isn't ancient. It's something that you got to, you know, keep cultivating for everyone, for humanity.
That's right.
And it's like, I think people have short attention spans these days as well, with like Instagram and everything. So like reading a book, it's like it's a lot, you know.
Yeah, even in our next generation, like you know, the generations that come by, I feel like we're going to see books less and less, and maybe more like Kindles or tablets and stuff like that.
But a physical book is...
Oh, there's nothing that beats a physical book.
It's true. It's true. I'm going to use this as well to get to the next question.
All right.
Your book, Little Pick Me Up.
A little pick me up.
And that's actually what, like, your quotes do. It gives you a little pick me up.
That's exactly right.
That is how I'd explain it.
That's exactly right. That's, I guess, the purpose or the basis of how I want my quotes to be seen. It's just short, snappy. It's a little pick me up for when you're feeling down or when you're struggling.
Yes.
Or whatever you're struggling with, whatever you're finding challenging, that's the quote for you. And then there's just a little chapter or a little blurb just to give a bit more in depth about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Thanks,
a little
Coco.
pick me up. It's it's like a little shot of coffee that you might need.
That's exactly right. It's your short 3 p.m. espresso, whatever you're drinking, or even in the morning, just a little pick me up to get you through the day.
Yes, that's amazing. So the book, it's compiled, it's with all your quotes and muses throughout.
That's exactly right.
New ones, or is it
new ones?
New ones, okay.
Never before seen on Instagram. I try not to mix that together. It's more like exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the way I structured my Instagram, I wanted to do it twofold. So one quote that's more visual, bigger text, a bright background, something that people might be scrolling through their phone and kind of see that and get their attention.
Yeah.
And what I generally like to do is make my caption longer for those who actually want to dive deeper into it, for those who might want to understand a bit more about what the quote means or where it comes from. So it kind of appeals to two different audiences. One with a shorter attention span who just wants maybe 10 to 15 words just to connect with them.
Yeah.
And those who actually have the time to take it deeper to another level, to try and see what that means and maybe have some key takeaways from that longer caption.
Yeah.
So I kind of translated that idea into a physical book where each chapter has its own quote. And then the following blurb or the following text is about maybe 2 to 3 pages, something short, easily digestible, just to expand on the quote a bit more and just really relate to my reader.
Wow.
That was the basis of that.
So you break down the quotes.
That's exactly right. I break down the quotes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I was actually thinking of how it was. 'Cause I read on your website, like.
That's exactly right.
But that's.
Yeah. So I split it into 3. So there's 3 different themes is how I like to call it. So the first theme is about life and motivation.
Yep.
So everything about how to feel motivated, or sometimes it's not motivation that carries you forward, it's discipline. Ooh. All of those life and motivation quotes to keep you feeling a little inspired, right? If you're feeling a little low. So that theme has 25 quotes in it. So each of those quotes then has a breakdown of the deep dive of the quote. And then we move into the next theme, which is about health and happiness, right? So I talk about health, the human body, the mental health. Yeah. I talk about spiritual health and how you have to not just look after your physical health, but look after your mental health. Yes. A lot of people neglect one or the other.
It's true.
Right? We go to the gym, we wake up early, we do all these things to really improve our physical health. We try and eat fruit, eat veggies, drink water. Yeah. But a lot of people forget about the mental health, right? And you probably know. And if
huge.
the mental health is lacking, everything goes out the window, right?
So true.
So that's what it talks about, health and happiness. So
Amazing.
Happiness is obviously the mental health and what happiness means. How do we achieve that? What do we do to achieve that? Yeah. So again, that's 25 quotes as well, and then another breakdown of those.
25 breakdowns, yeah. Yep. Nice.
And then we move into our last theme, which is love and relationships. So I talk more about the love and relationship with not just others, but ourselves as well. How to build that relationship with ourselves, how to spend more time with ourselves, be at peace with ourselves. All of that self-doubt and all of that negativity that might stem from our minds and our relationship with ourselves, I talk about that as well.
Beautiful.
So that's how the book is kind of structured.
Yeah, that's awesome. 3, I like those 3 as well. Yeah? Even the order.
Yeah, you like the order as well?
Did you put in that order for it?
I did.
Why was it? Can you? Yeah.
I guess at first it starts with like the life and motivation, right? Like I guess when we think about motivational quotes, that's what we think about. Yeah. We want to talk about how to get better at life, how to feel inspired, how to feel motivated. And that's kind of like the first step of a little pick-me-up, right? Yeah. Your first punch to it. And then if you want to read a little bit more, then you start talking about your health and happiness. So what's the next step in really working through your inner demons or that inner child trauma that you were talking about? And you really got to go inward and ask yourself, what makes yourself happy, how to make yourself happy. Because if the mind's not happy, then you're not going to go anywhere. If your body's not happy, you're not going to go anywhere.
True. And
then we talk about something a bit more of a relationship wise. So once you've established all of those, how do you then take all of that you've learned and put it into someone else or put it into yourself? So that's why I structured it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thanks for noticing.
No, because it's like, it's like it gets deeper and deeper. You know what I mean? Like
exactly
through
right.
each one, it's like different layer. Like each one's
Yeah.
peeling back another layer of yourself.
That's
to just
exactly right.
dive in more. That's
Yeah.
wow. There's a lot of thought. See, there's so much that goes behind it. It's not for every author out there. Someone wants to write a book. You know, there's a lot.
It took hard work. It took a lot of deliberation. Yeah.
How long did it take to compile everything and then to actually get it out?
That's a great question. So the actual writing component didn't take that long.
Okay.
I think because I just did what I love to do.
Yeah.
So that took about no more than 10 months. Probably
Okay.
about 9 months.
Yeah.
No more than a year. So about 9 months. And then all the writing was done. And then the hardest part for me was like how to actually put it into a book. So what was hard for me was like editing everything to make sure it kind of made sense.
Yeah.
So you know how you said you really like the order of the 3 themes?
Yeah.
What was hard for me was within those 3 themes were 25 quotes. I had to reorder those quotes as well to actually, what you said before, it goes deeper and deeper.
Wow.
Right?
So you even
Yeah.
even
So
the
for
quotes
example,
itself.
the quotes that I started off with, like quote 1, quote 2, quote 3, those are like the really simple ones where like the really simple basic ones,
Yeah.
you know, to ease people into it, not to throw someone right off the deep end kind of thing. So I had to reorder that and kind of go from simple or basic, maybe like your level 1, level 2, to kind of like your level 9, level 10, something more complex.
Wow, yeah.
So that took maybe like another few months, and then like doing the cover, putting it all together, that took another few months as well. So the whole thing probably took about a year and a half.
Nice.
Yeah, a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the journey itself, like just get into that, like would have been, you know, a beautiful experience.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Just knowing like no matter what happens to me, there'll always be a physical book out there that someone can just pick up, and that's kind of like what I've left behind. And they may have just, even if it's just one sentence out of the whole book that would have struck a chord with them, like my work here is done.
It's beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
So that really, really makes me
leaving that
happy.
footprint on
exactly.
this earth.
Giving back to the world or helping someone.
Love that.
That really makes me happy.
Yes, and even like your future kids or your grandkids,
they'll
have that to
right.
read forever. You know what I mean? That's awesome.
That's exactly right. Bedtime stories for the children.
So true. Like that, and that's the best time to read it because it'll go into the subconscious, all your quotes, you know what I mean, right before bed.
That's exactly right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. See a book, man. I don't know if I might write one day, but I could imagine just like the work. And then you said you edited it. Does that mean you didn't have an editor?
I didn't have an editor. I got what's called a beta reader, I think they're called.
Okay.
And that's someone who kind of, a stranger who kind of reads your book and kind of tells you what works, what doesn't work, and if something doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So I got 3 of those.
Oh, wow.
And I kind of just asked for their opinion and was like, hey, look, this is what I've done. This is the finished draft.
Yeah.
What do you think of it? Does it make sense? Like, is there something that kind of just sticks out to you and be like, this completely doesn't make sense?
Yeah.
Or the message I'm trying to convey just, I've lost the plot kind of thing. So that's what I kind of helped with.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, so you got 3 as well.
I got 3, yeah.
3's the key. 3
is the key.
That is awesome. So I'm thinking, because is a lot of it like just their perspective? Do you know what I mean? Like, because you know how you said, like, if you've gone a bit off, like lost the plot, like, because like what is lost the plot? You know what I'm saying? So like, did you have to like kind of take on their advice, but also kind of follow your own like intuition
100%.
or heart, and be like, no, this is exactly how I'm meant to write it.
Yeah, so that's a really good point you raised, because one of the beta readers, for example, they didn't really understand what I was trying to convey, so they put their opinion in. And as a writer, the best thing about it is you get to control your words, right? You get to control, maybe as a songwriter yourself, the way you articulate your rap lyrics, the way you articulate your lyrics. Not everyone might understand what you're trying to convey. So what's important is you take on their feedback and you take on their opinion. And if it matches with what you're trying to convey, sure. If it improves that, sure, take on board that feedback. But if it isn't, and you're kind of not really on the same path, not really on the same page, then you kind of just go, okay, like, you know, thanks for that, but this is actually what I'm trying to convey a bit more. And that's why I got 3 beta readers, because if it was just one person and they were saying, this doesn't make sense, this quote should go here and not there, this quote is too complex, this quote that you put at the beginning is a bit too hard to understand, I might get too swayed by that one opinion.
Yeah.
So I got 3 just to kind of even it out. And to really understand if it works or doesn't. So if all 3 of them are saying, oh, this quote is completely gibberish, it doesn't make sense to me, then maybe I got to rethink it myself, right?
Yeah.
But if it's just one person and the other 2 were okay with it, then I'd go with my gut feeling.
Clever. So that would help a lot. Yeah, having really 3. Helped. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just kind of use the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome.
And you got to trust in your own work. If you think it makes sense, then
go
it makes
with
sense.
it. Exactly. That's so true, because that's how you got to where to that point of making the book, is you just went with your heart.
That's exactly right.
That's so good. So how's your family, your circle responded to the book? They love it?
Yeah, they've been just extremely positive support. When I first showed my mom, she was extremely thrilled, and she actually had no idea that I was doing this. I kind of kept it in the dark from her.
Oh, okay.
And my mom's an ethnic Asian, so she doesn't really understand the things I write. Yeah. But for her to have received a physical copy of my book, and for her to say, oh my God, my daughter's an author, that to me was just that to her was just so much joy. Wow. And so much praise and proudness, which was just really heartwarming to me.
Of course.
She doesn't really know, she couldn't even get past the first page. She's like, I don't really understand what you're writing, but I love it. And she's got it on her bedside table, and it's just so beautiful. Adorable. I really love that. My friends have honestly been so supportive from the very first moment. Ever since I told them I was writing a book and I gave them sneak peeks and stuff like that, it was just tremendous support. That's just been incredible.
It's important, having a strong circle.
Definitely,
that's just kind of feeding you that positivity.
Definitely.
And it's a foundation. It keeps you strong, keeps you balanced.
For sure. I'm sure you can relate as well with your industry.
It helps a lot. It does. It's because I couldn't imagine not having it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, it'd be
that self-doubt would just spiral like crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So with the self-doubt, this is a good point. So what do you think it is that gives us self-doubt? Do you think, I like to not externalize things too much and point fingers, because I feel like you're missing the point. Try to always take it in. Do you know what I mean? It's unresponsible. But is it because of society's conditioning of constantly kind of making us feel like we're not worth, we're not valuable, we need something to make ourselves something, better? Damn,
that's a deep question. I would say there's 2 things that would feed into this.
Yeah.
One is how we see ourselves, how we perceive ourselves, and 2 is how we compare ourselves to others.
Yeah.
So there's a benchmark of how you see everything, right?
True.
There's a benchmark of what a good book should be. There's a benchmark of what good music should be. There's a benchmark of what good food is, right? So if you're trying to become a chef, when you think of good food, you think of maybe the restaurants that you've eaten at, or maybe a meal that you've had. So self-doubt comes from how you perceive yourself and whether you can meet that benchmark or exceed it. But a lot of times when we look inward, and if you're really hard on yourself, your benchmark is here, but you kind of always think that you're just going to fall short from here.
Yeah.
So that gap, that's the whole self-doubt demons that manifests there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how
powerful.
I see it.
Yes.
So if your benchmark is really, really high, like some people with really high expectations, it's going to be really hard because you're always going to fall short of those expectations. Yeah,
that's really deep. So it's important to find a balance, would you say, with having a healthy expectation, or whatever a healthy expectation would be, and not being too hard on yourself.
That's exactly
having
right.
that compassion and love for yourself.
100%.
But also keeping that discipline to get to that.
That's exactly right. What I've also learned, and you've probably heard of it, just celebrate the small wins. Screw that benchmark. Screw those expectations. Every step that you're taking is a small win towards your journey.
Nice.
Whether it be that lyric that you've written on the weekend, whether it be something that's inspired you, whether it be that beat that you made when you were doing your rhythmic breathing, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Just day by day, just working on it. Celebrate those small wins. And then eventually you're going to raise that bar higher and higher, no matter how fast or slow you go.
I love that.
Yeah.
Celebrate the small stuff.
Celebrate the small wins.
Yes, it's so true. And that's where I'm at kind of now as well, realizing this year especially, it's just celebrate life more.
100%.
You know what I mean? Celebrate even the family, if they're together. We don't have to be out at dinner, but just we're together. Celebrate that, just anything that you can, just celebrate it, because life is fleeting and everything's just
Definitely. Do you practice gratitude a lot? I actually struggle to remember to practice gratitude.
I've made it a thing for myself, ever since I started really taking my spiritual that serious. Gratitude was massive, huge, every night I have to do my every time I wake up, every time I go to sleep.
And how do you do it? Just in your mind?
No, I'll say it. It depends where I'm at. Like if I'm in a comfortable, I'll say it out loud. If I'm like somewhere else, I'll do it like within myself. During meditations, I'll do it.
Right.
Like if I finish yoga and then I'm doing like my breath work at the end.
Yeah.
I'll do whenever I have those moments of stillness.
Right.
Those moments to just kind of the cold showers.
Yeah.
Do it a lot.
Oh, are you still doing the cold showers?
Yeah.
Wow.
Always. At least like I'll have because it's getting cold now. I'll have a warm. I'll go warm.
And then you just crank it to cold.
Crank it to cold for 5 minutes, and then that'll become that. And then to get my mind off the cold,
right.
it'll be the gratitude.
Right.
So I'll be saying all my gratitudes.
And how deep do you go? Is it just something as simple as I'm so grateful for X, or do you actually go deeper and deeper into the single gratitude?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Because I'm still learning today how to be consistent with it and how to do it effectively.
That's a really good question. I think so. At the beginning, it was like the simple stuff.
Yeah.
And then I have moments of like. I have moments when I go really deep with the gratitude, but normally something will catalyze it. Like something it'll be like an experience. But yeah, that's a really good question. I'm kind of shook with it. That's a good one.
Oh, sorry, Coco. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I know, you full done reverse roles. He's the interviewer. No, that's a great question though. That is a great question. But I do practice gratitude at least 3 times a day. Have to.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I saw in your thing, gratitude is the attitude.
100%.
And that's always been my thing as well.
Yeah.
Like it's like, and
So
whenever
important.
I'm like in a angsty, frustrated state, that's what normally gets me out of it. Either laughing or being grateful or realizing how much abundance I have.
For sure.
And just being grateful for the small stuff.
It's so easy to get into that negative loop of
so easy.
Everything's not working out for me.
Victim
Why
mode.
didn't this happen the way I want it to be? And just focusing on all the negatives and what you lack, and then you just get into this bad mood.
Spiral, and it just takes you. It's so true. It's so true. But that gratitude normally pulls me straight out of it because it's just like, yeah, man, like be grateful for breath. Like when I had a cold or whatever, like the nose is blocked, the throat, you can't taste food good. Just the simple things, being able to taste food again, breathe through your nose again, you know what I mean? Be able to walk and just like smell like those, when you can be grateful for the littlest things, that can pull you out of those moments real quick.
100%.
And that's been a lifesaver, those gratitude. Like over just the littlest thing. It's not even little though, because like breath is huge.
That's exactly right.
It's life. But it's just something we take for granted.
For sure. You know what we always take for granted? Our health.
Exactly.
The quality of how we live.
Exactly. It's so true. And you don't want to wait for that moment when something happens to be like, oh, I wish, you know what I mean? You just want to be grateful for it all the time.
It's always when we get something taken away from us, like surgery, or when you have your cold, when you lost the ability to breathe, that you realize how important it is.
It's true. It's so true. And we shouldn't, I feel like we shouldn't wait for that. It should just be like something that...
That's exactly
But it's because there's so much happening in life. You just, your focus, your attention's constantly pulled here and there and there. And it's just like, but those moments when like my attention can be here, like that's when I use the gratitude. That's when it comes out. And
that's good.
It's so important though. Gratitude is attitude.
So you do it before bedtime?
So in the cold showers before bed.
Cold showers is morning?
No, that's night.
Oh,
so and then when I wake up, as soon as I wake up, before my feet touch the ground, sit up, do my gratitude. Yeah. Have to.
I'm inspired.
Yeah, no, I do it quite. It's like, but it's become such a routine now.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. It's become such a routine, and it was like, I think it was like beginning of last year, when I'm like, wait a second, this is becoming not a chore, but it's like so routine that I might be saying it, but it's not. I need to create that connection again with it. You know what I mean? Because I'm just saying it. Because I've been doing it for so long. Yeah. So it's just like, so that was the weird thing for me when I had that kind of, not epiphany, but that moment of like, wait a second, am I saying this? Or am I like feeling this? You know, am I pulling that feeling of gratitude when I say these words? Or am I just saying it to get through this cold shower? Yeah. Because it's cold. You know what I mean? So that was interesting for me as well.
That's a great revelation. Yeah. That's actually something I struggle with as well. The difference between saying it and actually feeling it. Yeah,
feeling it and pulling that, like, because, and that's the thing, when you do like your gratitude, like the simple ones of like just your family, your loved ones, that can really pull that feeling. Yep. And then once you feel that, then that's kind of like your gauge to where you know how to get to that, if that makes sense. I don't know how to describe it.
It does make sense. It's very interesting.
So
I'm inspired.
No, well, I'm grateful. But gratitude is the attitude, and it is important to do as often as you can. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it doesn't take long. It doesn't. I mean, we can watch a show for like 30 minutes. You can do a gratitude for 5 minutes. Or even like if you're a writer, which you are, like that's probably your best way to to have those gratitude moments. But it's so important. Like, and whenever every book that I've read, a Deepak Chopra book, it's always like gratitude is one of the foundations of everything. You go like all religious texts, just like that's the common theme throughout everything. Really.
Definitely giving thanks.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the common thread, and it's just like those things. It's like it's just pointing you in the right direction, and it's gratitude, man. We gotta have. You know what? It's actually a great idea. Because you have a gratitude quote, I'm pretty sure. So this is what I planned. I've picked a few quotes.
Wow, I'm so excited.
From your page. And we got quite a few. So we'll get into, I'll say a few. And then I'll say one and we'll do it like your book.
Okay.
So like we'll break it down. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure.
All right, perfect. So we'll go, I got one of your big font ones. Mm-hmm. So this one is, stop overthinking about the future because all you've got is the present. I love this one because it's so simple, but it's just profound.
Damn. You know what? Sometimes, like, when I go back and read my writing, I'm honestly like, did I write that? Like, it just gives me this weird feeling where I'm like, wow, I can't believe I wrote that. And I learned something from my own writing sometimes. So, yeah. Are we going in depth with this one?
Oh, I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah. You know what? Like, I don't know about you, but focusing on the present is something that's also really hard for me. Do you struggle with that?
That's why I do like things like play the didgeridoo or like do these things that will bring me like maybe into my body or into my breath to help me present myself.
Right.
But of course I struggle heaps because I overthink.
That's exactly right.
A lot, like ridiculous amount. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you're into like astrology and stuff, but I'm an Aquarius. Aquarius is supposed to be air signs.
Right.
They're up in their head a lot.
Really.
That's like one of my blessings because I can get all these like thoughts and words. I can put them down, but it can also be like a curse because it's just like it's
a blessing and a curse, right? It's where your creative stream comes from, but you can really just get stuck in there.
Double-edged sword.
So I noticed a lot of people, including myself, like we all struggle to live in the present. We're always thinking about if it's not work, it's what we're doing tomorrow, or we're worrying about something. I'm the biggest culprit of this. My mind is always stuck thinking about if not tomorrow, then next week. I think about my future in like 2 or 3 years. I think about where I'm going to be, where I'm going to end up. It's a blessing and a curse because the way I wrote this book is because back then I was planning for the future. I was like, what can I do next year? What can I do that will really, that I'll be proud of? Like a project that I really want to work on. And sometimes that is what leads me to success. But a lot of times I forget to live in the present moment. So this quote really struck a chord with me because the present moment is all you've got, right? If I'm sitting here with you right now, having this conversation, my mind is in the present. Yeah. But for example, if I'm doing something else and my mind's just thinking about the next week, I lose both that moment and that feeling. And that's what life is all about. Yep. And then life is just going to escape you. And before you know it, you won't even know what you did or how you felt. And that's my biggest struggle.
No, I love that. Yeah. So it's crazy how the quotes, like they really connect with, like it's it's helping you, like that's you said, exactly learn
right.
About this.
Yeah, so that's really hard for me, and it's just a reminder to just really focus on the present. And you know what, it's easier said than done.
Exactly, it's so true, and it's all we got, you know what I mean? That's all that, like, in even I read something where it's like the past and the future is all in the present as well anyway.
That's exactly
like,
right.
In the moment when you're thinking about the future, it's in the moment.
Exactly.
And same with the past.
Exactly. And you know what? It's really hard to tread that fine line between when you got to think about the future and when you got to live in the present. Because for someone who never thinks about the future and just lives in the present moment, that's also dangerous as well, right? They'll lead you in places that are dangerous and just... Yeah,
it's true. It's having that balance between both. That's a really good point you raised. Yeah, because you can't be too, like, you can be, but you can't just fixate your whole life as the moment.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you need to know where you're stepping next.
Exactly right. You need to know where you're stepping next. But then where's that fine line of kind of focusing too much on the present, on the future, and just absolutely losing that present moment.
Yeah, that was deep. That was a good one. Wow, so this is a little snapshot of the book, fam. This is what happens. So Yvonne breaks it down. That's amazing. So is that kind of like a breakdown you do in the book?
That's exactly right. Okay. That's a breakdown.
Perfect.
Yeah.
This is great. This is
like an in-person breakdown of the book.
Yes, exactly. We love this. So I got another one.
All right.
Do not be afraid or anxious about the unknown of the future. The mystery, the uncertainty, the chances yet to unfold. These are all opportunities waiting to happen.
That's a good one as well. See how I often talk about the future, because with me personally, I struggle to be at peace with the future.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people who are quite anxious or worried or nervous about the future, whether it be starting a new job next week, whether it be their future in 10 years' time, where they'll end up. And the unknown to us is scary, right?
Facts.
Like, I'm so scared of the unknown. I don't know what next year will be like. I don't know what 10 years later will be like. We don't want to be out of our comfort zone because the unknown is scary to us. We're so comfortable just doing what we do, being around the same environment.
Yeah.
But I learnt this phrase off a podcast I forgot, but growth will die in the comfort zone. The growth only grows in the uncomfortable.
Wow.
So that was a big thing to me.
Yeah.
And the unknown lives only in the uncomfort area. So rather than be scared of it, we got to embrace it, because that's where the opportunities are, right?
Yes.
Like, for example, coming to this podcast, to me, it was new. I didn't know what the experience was going to be like. I didn't know how it was going to be like. But it was an opportunity for us to connect, for me to talk about my journey, your journey.
Yes.
And if I was, for example, stressing out about it and just focused about the future last week, I would have just lost the opportunity and just really worked myself up. But I didn't do that. But yeah.
Obviously not. No, I feel you. No, that was a great breakdown. It's so true. And this it's like that quote similar to the one you got from the podcast, to be comfortable with the uncomfortable.
That's
another
right.
one that hit me. It's
That's
just
exactly
like that's
right.
it, putting yourself in those situations and pressure. Not even pressure. They're only pressure because you put that pressure on yourself in those moments of,
That's
uncertainty.
exactly right.
But once you like you said, embrace it, opening yourself up to it, there's so much magic.
It's so scary though.
Yeah,
It's
of course.
nice and cozy being in the comfort zone. It's kind of like,
of course,
it's kind of like waking up in the morning on a cold winter's morning and you just want to stay in bed. It's comfortable. It takes guts and it takes bravery to just, get out of bed. It takes guts and bravery to have that cold shower when it's already freezing cold. So Coco, what you're doing every day to yourself, that is already throwing yourself in the uncomfort
It's funny how
zone.
you say that. Yeah, that's actually what helps me do the cold shower. So I'm like, this is training me to just like, even though I don't want to do it,
that's exactly
it's
right.
uncomfortable, I'm going to feel good after, because you do feel really good after cold showers.
Yeah.
And there's like a whole science behind it. I can't explain it. I'll butcher it. But
Wim Hof style?
I was about to say, I was literally going to say, go check out Wim Hof if you want to know about cold showers and stuff. But it's just like, it's worth it. It's worth going through that bit of uncomfort. Yeah. And then that cold water becomes kind of warm. You know what I mean? And you just like, you just get used to it. Exactly.
And you get stronger and stronger and
That's it. Yes. These quotes. Come on, Yvonne. These are
thanks, Coco.
simple pick me up. Everyone get ready. I need
really
everyone to order it
that.
because these are amazing. All right, we've got some more quotes right here. I think this one's a bit more recent. Good habits will always compound and cultivate an environment that allows for better habits to form. I like this one.
Habits is a big thing, and I'm sure you can relate with this. Your cold showers, your gratitude, these are all habits that you're utilizing every day. And one thing you said before, which really ties into this, is, what did you say? What was it? Was it gratitude, or one of the things where you said it stopped being a chore?
Yeah, it was
it gratitude?
Yeah.
The moment you said it stopped being a chore and it started like being a routine, being a lifestyle, that's the ultimate purpose of habits, right? When you have these good habits, it compounds your life. The cold showers, the gratitude, what else do we do? Exercise, your didgeridoo practice, my journaling. All of this is what compounds us to live a good life, to be disciplined, to be happy about our progress. So the more you create these new habits, I think it's called habit stacking. The more you're able to really be happy with your progress and really kind of guide yourself through where you want to be. Habits is a big one for me. But it's hard. It's so hard. Very hard.
It's tough.
It's so easy to break the habit and just fall into that habit of...
It's so true.
Breaking a habit is a habit in itself. Yeah. I'm sure you and I have done this. Like, we go to the gym and we say to ourselves, all right, this is the day we're going to start 3 days a week or however many days, and then we break the habit, and then we just never want to go back to the gym ever again.
I feel
just
like
so much harder to start up.
I know it's harder to start, and it's easy to just stop it. You know what I mean? It's easy to go down that spiral of just like kind of not doing it. But it's like building the momentum, like when you're talking about the habits. I feel
momentum is a big one.
That's what it is, and then each like habit kind of like channels into the other. Do you know what I mean? So like that discipline that I might use for the cold showers.
Exactly right.
That you'll use for the gym. It will like go into your writing. Like I got to write today.
Exactly right.
So it's like they're all connected within each other.
Exactly right. That's a really good point you raised. It's kind of like when I go to the gym today, I feel good about myself. So I'll want to eat better to fuel my body.
Yeah.
When I eat better, maybe I want to drink more water to hydrate my body.
True.
When I drink more water, maybe I want to sleep a bit better because I already feel good. That's already 4 simple habits there that'll already have you feeling top of the world.
Yes.
But if you skip the gym, then you want to grab that Macca's on the way home. Then you want to grab that diet, not Diet Coke, but whatever it may be, the slushie from 7-Eleven, and then you want to stay up all night eating more popcorn or chips, then that's just self-destructive, right?
Yeah.
So,
and they can become habits in themselves.
Exactly right. Might be fun for one weekend or two. I love those weekends.
Of course.
But you start getting into that toxic slide, and then it's just so hard to pick up those positive habits again.
True. You can compound bad habits.
That's exactly right. So we're trying to stop the compounding bad habits and just focus on that one good habit at a time, which is so hard to do, but we just got to try.
I know, exactly. We've got to try.
We just got to try.
It's tough. And then with the bad habits, I feel like the way for me, a lot of things that have helped is just like replacing that time that I'd be doing the bad habits with something a bit more of a positive habit. 100%. Do you know what I mean?
You know what I'm currently struggling with at the moment? Like a huge bad habit I have is using my phone, scrolling my phone.
Tell me about it.
And I don't want to admit it because it makes me feel like I waste my time or kind of thing. But I know a lot of people might feel this way. Just my phone is just such a big time dump. And exactly what you said, I think it's really useful to use that time and channel it somewhere else. So maybe read more. I'm trying to read a bit more and just replace that. Maybe like cook a bit more, meditate, all of those things that can replace my time on the phone. That's what I'm currently trying to do.
Yeah, that's powerful. Replacing. I know what you mean with the scrolling though. The scrolling's intense.
Deadly.
I'm working on some lyrics kind of to do with scrolling.
Yeah.
And like tablets, like, and connecting it with like the double meaning of like, because you know back in the ancient days they had scrolls, magical scrolls and tablets.
Oh yeah.
People could get lost in those magical scrolls.
Wow, tell me a bit more about that.
But that's just something that I'm still kind of getting it out there. I love that
connection.
Yeah, I'm kind of fleshing it out, whatever.
Right.
But I'm still trying to get the hang. But it's something like that where it's just like we can get caught in these scrolls. And it's just like back in like, you know, ancient times, there were like myths of people getting stuck in like magic scrolls.
Wow.
Like actual scrolls, like physical scrolls. But it's like the same thing. And then it's like a tablet. Back then, like there's the emerald tablets and all these tablets. It's like now we use tablets.
Yeah,
you know?
wow.
So it's like not much has changed.
What a mind-blowing correlation.
It's wacky as, but it'll sound better when I put it in a song.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Do you have a title for that song?
No, not yet. It might even just be a verse in a song.
Oh,
because it's not huge. But these are just some things that have just
How long does it take you to create a song from start to finish? To write it?
Wow. It depends. Like, I'm a bit different. Like, I know everyone has their own way. Like, I've talked to artists. Everyone does their own thing.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, it depends. Sometimes I'll hear a beat and then I can write to it.
Yep.
A lot of my album, it was just kind of, I had compiled a lot of lyrics and then I'd match them with the beat or like that song. That. Yeah, that sound will kind of give me the vibe. Like, these words would match that sound, like that feeling.
Right.
And it's like a puzzle piece. You know what I mean? That I put together. Like some
so creative.
Yeah, it's weird. Like some things I would have written as like a verse.
Yep.
And then I just take 2 lines from that verse and that might become like a hook for the whole song. Yeah. So it's like, or even the theme of a whole new song. So it's just like there's no method to it. To the madness.
Awesome.
It is madness.
So as a writer, we get writer's block sometimes. We kind of just don't know what to write. Do you get the same 100%. In your field?
100%.
Yeah?
I've been lately. That's where I've been. Like just like not writer's like block, but I'm just like I want to. It's not like I'm talking about the same. It's kind of like I'm saying the same thing, and I'm like I want to start writing. And I think, and I was telling my mum this, 'cause she's a creative as well. Like with creative people during lockdown and all that, it's like a lot of your creativity is from experiences and like getting out there, stimulation, socialize, whatever, going exploring, traveling, whatever it may be, and then you gain these little insights or whatever that help your creativity.
Yeah.
And then I think during lockdown and not seeing people, not doing these things, like your creativity suffered a lot, as well as your health and everything. But it's just like, so I think now I'm finally kind of pushing out of that. I've been writing, but like little nuggets here and there. I don't put too much pressure on myself of like trying to write like a whole song in one day, which I used to. That used to be my thing. Like, I gotta write at least like 3 songs a day. And like, it's crazy. Like, it was good. It served its purpose, but where I'm at now is just like, just write something meaningful down and just keep,
that's good.
You know, keep going. Just whenever it comes, put it down. When it, you know, so it's just like not putting too much, like you said, the expectation on myself.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes you got to reel it back a bit, and then that's where all the magic happens.
You have to, because if you're too hard on yourself, you suffer for no reason. You put yourself through all this.
You're putting yourself through the torment,
and that's a lot of things. It's just like we put ourselves through so much. It's not like other people. It's just like you. It's like yourself is putting you.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Even like anxiety and all that.
100%.
Because like a lot of times, like I was saying, to get out of anxiety and stuff, I'll use gratitude, or I'll just start laughing. Like how you're saying you laugh at some of the stuff you've written from, and then you'll say like it was so insignificant in that moment.
That's
but
exactly
like when you look back, it's just like, what was I? And that happens to me sometimes in the moment. I'll be like, have a moment where I become like the observer, and I'm just laughing at myself. It's like, dude, what in the world? Like, it's not that deep, or it's not that like, you know, serious. Like, relax, you know. And then it'll be that like laughing, literally laughing to myself like a crazy person, and just being like, bro, and it'll get me out of it.
Oh, that's good.
So it's crazy how.
That's good that you can disconnect and be that observer and then objectively see what you're going through. That's very important.
Yeah, that's been a huge game changer. And that, like, I don't do it all the time. I still get caught up in my own shit, but that helps a lot, becoming that observer and just seeing it from all its angles, and just being aware, right? Being conscious of it. That's the whole Coco the Conscious, being just conscious of what's happening, and not being so caught up in it.
And is that where the name comes from, Coco the Conscious? Yeah. Oh, I love it.
I think so. Like, it came to me like when I was not sleeping, but you know when you're about to fall asleep, and you're kind of like in dreamland, but you're not there yet, and then it was just like Coco. Like, I had like Coco the Catalyst, Coco the this, Coco that.
Amazing.
But then Conscious was the one. And then it's just like something that, because I've had people say like, oh, why didn't you just like take off the Conscious, keep it Coco? And I'm just like, nah, because it's just like, I want to attract that as well. Like, by writing it down and putting it out there, now I'm going to be attracting that energy. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I want.
Yeah.
And so it's
conscious. I love that.
And then it keeps me honest, do you know what I mean, with myself.
Yeah.
But even that was a thing in itself, because I'm just like, okay, at the beginning I'm like, okay, I got to write things that are always conscious, and always like positive, and like I connected consciousness with like positivity, and I'm like, no, that's not what it was. Do you know what I mean? It's just being I can write whatever I want. Do you know what I mean? Whatever, because I'm being conscious of what's happening in that moment or what has happened. So it's really freeing. And that's how kind of the name came along.
Is that your artist name as well?
Yeah, that's the artist name.
Oh,
sorry,
amazing.
So that's my artist name. And the name I use for the podcast, and Mr. Moods. We've got to use Mr. Moods.
Mr. Moods.
Yeah.
Can I use this to segue into something, actually? I think this is the perfect segue.
All right.
So I wasn't sure when to bring this up, but I have a small gift for you.
Oh, no. What do you mean?
And
this is wild. Oh, God.
And this Yvonne, is a great segue into what I'm about to give you, because...
Now I feel bad. All I got you was water.
I made you something. And it says Coco the Conscious.
Oh, what? Come on, man. Oh, Yvonne.
It's a candle. I made it myself.
Oh, my God. You made this?
I did.
Oh, my. Wow.
The scent is lavender. And why I chose lavender is that it's supposed to be like... Lavender's like spiritual and healing and very calming and soothing. So... I made this for you, man, and I stuck that on there. Coco the Conscious.
Thank you so much, man. That means so much, honestly.
I hope that was a good segue.
No, that was beautiful. This is beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm going to give you a hug after this, but this is just like...
That's okay. I hope you like it.
I love it. And lavender, I love lavender.
Yeah, you do.
And it's funny because I've been trying to do... they got these like candle meditations, like with a flame, when you focus on a flame. And I don't have any candles in my house.
Really?
So this is actually
I hope
perfect.
this is going to be perfect.
Thank you so much.
When
and
you
it
do your
smells
meditations,
amazing.
when you do your gratitude.
Of course.
I hope this will
Any
be
rituals
Cocoa the Conscious. When you're suffering from the writer's block equivalent of when you're making your rap songs, just
Yvonne,
light that baby up.
You're the best. No, that is, thank you so much.
No, that's okay.
No, thank you. That's beautiful.
That's okay. There's actually a reason why I made you this.
Like, it's so like it's physical, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you created this. How did you make it? Like,
that's a great question. There's actually a reason why I wanted to give you something like this. And I kind of was wondering I was like thinking to myself before I came out, I was like, I'm not going to give this candle to Coco right when I see him, because I kind of want it to be like a special surprise on the podcast. But a reason why I kind of wanted to give this to you was this is kind of like the next project that I'm working on. I'm going to put my quote, exactly like Coco the Conscious, on a candle.
Wow.
So it's not going to be Coco the Conscious. I personalized that for you. But it's going to be like a short, snappy quote on a candle.
Amazing.
And the candle's going to be a vessel to carry that quote to someone who might relate to that quote, who might need that quote, who might just want a gentle reminder. So that's what I've been working on the past few months, but it's not, it's still very new.
Best gift.
So,
but even for the like best gift to give people is these candles that you're gonna make with your quotes. Of course, because that's what the quotes are. They're like a little gift, a little nugget. You know what I mean?
It's a little nugget,
a little pick me up. But like now you have a physical candle.
That's right.
Listen, thank you, Yvonne.
So that's
this
the next
is
thing that I'm gonna do. So before, when you asked me if I'm a writer and author, I'm like, yeah, I am. But I also want to venture into this. But that's why I was like, I'll get into that a bit later.
Right? Yeah, it happened so organically. This was not planned, family. This was just organic and amazing. Thank you so much.
No, that's okay. So I really hope you like it.
I love it. I love lavender as well.
It's still in the inception stage, so like I'm still figuring things out.
Yeah.
It might not smell as good.
It
might
smells
not burn
really
as
good. It smells strong.
But yeah, I really hope that it's
even the font. The font's beautiful.
And guess what? You're one of the first people who's received the candle, and you're one of the first people who's known about it. I haven't really announced it. Haven't really told many people about it, but it's all happening.
Wow, I feel honored. This is like a first right here.
Yeah.
Midnight Moves podcast exclusive. Yvonne's next venture, next gift to the world. Thank you so much.
That's exactly
thank you. So this is beautiful.
No, that's okay.
So you make the actual.
I do.
The wax, is it?
Yeah. So pretty much what you do is you buy the jar. So you select the jar. I'm going to select an amber jar.
Nice.
So like an orangey amber jar, just for that nice. I think it just gives a really nice mood, right? I hope you like this.
Yeah, I love it. This is the moods, man. This is the mood right here. I might have to start lighting. Man, once you make these candles, I'll get one for the podcast.
Oh, that's so
I don't know,
good.
is there a smoke alarm? Oh, there is a smoke alarm in here.
I don't think it's going to set a smoke alarm.
Okay.
Because I don't think there's smoke that comes out of the
Yeah,
candle.
it's just a little bit of... Well, I'm gonna do that.
I think it should be okay.
We're gonna get We're gonna get some for the Midnight Moves podcast in the future once you put them out. Yeah, we'll get some. And then
so exciting.
Yeah, we'll light them.
Oh,
That's
you.
awesome. Light them up, bro. And it's deep because it's with words, like there's a connection with words and like burning. I don't know.
Yeah,
I gotta get into it. Yeah, there's something.
Oh, that's
there's something. I don't know. We'll explore it later. But this is This is the next thing. I can see it. Well, I can see it physically now. And that's awesome. So how do you mix it up? Like you get lavender.
That's a great question. So you buy the wax.
Yeah.
It actually comes in flakes, surprisingly. So think of something like bark. You know how bark is in those small chippy flakes?
Yeah.
Think of bark, but it's in like a white crayon style solid. Wow. And it comes in this, you can buy it in like 1 kilo, 5 kilos, buy it in bulk. And then what you do is you have to melt the wax over heat. So you put it in this like jar and you put it in a pan of boiling water.
Wow.
And those solids, those wax solids, will then melt into a waxy liquid.
Wow.
And then when you melt it into a liquid, you then choose your fragrance. So fragrance comes in just another liquid bottle, but it's like potent, focused
like an
fragrance.
extract.
Yeah, like an extract. Exactly right. So when you smell it, it's like so potent and intense. But then you mix a percentage of that fragrance. So you choose your fragrance. So this one's lavender.
Lavender, yeah.
You can choose ones that are like vanilla. You can choose more exotic ones like, what else can it be? Anything you can think of.
Yeah.
Floral scents.
Wow.
There's food scents. Your chocolate scents. Your musky wood scents.
Yeah.
You can have mixtures and concoctions. So you can have like frangipani and wildflower,
Whoa.
or you can have like peach and vanilla. So any of those things, you would choose your scent, and then you put a percentage of that extract in your melted wax.
Yeah.
Then you'll mix it for a bit, and then you pour that baby in that vessel or the jar or whatever you've chosen. Leave it there overnight for it to solidify, and then that's what you've got.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a that must be something magical in itself. The process.
Yeah,
of just
it
making
is.
the wax and.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm still going through the process of choosing the right fragrances and seeing what I want. Because what I ultimately want is, because my quote is something to do with kind of like self-help, healing, calming, soothing. I kind of want my quote to be aligned with something like that. So I want a fragrance that is similar to that message or that feeling I'm trying to convey.
I know what you're doing here.
Yeah?
You know I know exactly.
You know where
I know where you're going. 100%. Because
it's kind of like lighting incense. Similar to that.
That's where I was going with it. It's so true. And it's like, yeah, if you could put the words into a smell, you want to find that smell that would represent those words.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So lavender's a winner for me. I personally really like that smell. Like, out of the few scents I've chosen, I really like this one.
100%.
But I'm still on the journey to find a few of those scents. So that's what You're gonna find them. Testing.
There's so many out there. Yeah. I'm thinking like chamomile even.
Chamomile, yeah.
Like that's a calm, like soothing.
That's
like I'm thinking
right.
teas.
I was thinking teas as well. Yeah.
That's even another thing you could do, like tea.
Teas. Oh, so many.
There's infinite possibilities. But these are amazing.
These
are the gifts. No, literally, when you make these, I will be giving them to people as gifts. No, because these are really heartfelt gifts, and obviously the quotes as well, powerful. And like a lot of people I know do like full moon rituals and all these, and then and new moon, and it's always with candles. You got to light a candle and that stuff. So I know a lot of people that can give these to them for their birthdays and stuff.
I hope so. I think just a message with a candle is just so
good.
It's beautiful and it's unique and. Yeah. Candles always look so nice when they're lit or even if it's unlit. Yeah. So I think it's nice to just have that reminder or that mantra, whatever they wish for that quote to be.
Yeah.
Just to have that around. And if they want to light it, then it also looks really good when it's lit.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's lit, all right. So good. It smells so. Thank you so much.
That's
this is amazing.
I'm really happy you like
I'm
it.
going to light this up. Yeah,
I'm very happy you like it.
I love the font. So is the font going to be similar to... like this?
Yeah.
Or okay, so it's going to be one font?
That.
Yeah.
It's going to be one font, just a nice cursive font. And it's just going to be a quote that's about... I actually already have a quote. It's not on my phone. Maybe I'll show you later.
Yeah.
What does it say? There's a quote that I've made and it says, sometimes darkness exists as a way for us to find the light. So that's like a winner quote that I've got right now, and I'm going to stick that on. And I think it like really alludes to that light, dark, flame, heating, warmth, the whole thing that relates to a candle. So we'll go about like here, like just a few lines of text like that.
Wow.
And then,
that's awesome. How did this idea come along?
How did it come along? For the longest time in the past few months, especially after writing a book, I really wanted to venture out in something else. So for the longest time, I was brainstorming what product to kind of carry my quote with. Yeah. And I kept getting stuck on affirmation cards, journals. Have you ever walked into Kiki K, the shop, and they have heaps of really nice journals?
No, I haven't. But I've seen these like these journals with quotes.
Journals which have like quotes on it, or mindfulness, meditation, practice, any of those things. And I just kept thinking about like calendars, journals, affirmation cards, gratitude cards. But I was really unsure about how to do it because I don't know whether it appealed to the general public. It wouldn't have that meaning behind it because I don't know how people are these days with these physical prints. Everything's digital these days, right? And if I make affirmation cards of my quotes, I don't really know like what people would want to buy it for. Would they really buy a packet of cards to have them read out to themselves, or would they do meditation with it? I think it's very, very niche. Yeah. Whereas I started thinking about what would really align to my message, both from a visual perspective, from a feeling perspective, whether it be like just putting a candle in when you're having a bath, right? And just trying to, if you're having a bad day, you put a candle on with that bath, what does that feeling bring you? How does that make you feel? And then just having that quote there about maybe self-love or healing or growth or maybe bouncing back from a bad day, those are the things that I wanted to convey. So I kind of started thinking about what could really carry that message.
Yeah.
So I landed on a candle, and it's just been
That makes
experimentation ever since.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And it's like symbolic. It's like, you know, the quote sparks a little
That's exactly
a little
right.
light
Oh,
in you,
like
a little
that.
flame. Do you know what I mean?
I like that. Yeah.
That's what like quotes do. I feel like it just gives you that little spark.
I like that.
know?
And you know what? That's a great segue, because you know what the name of these candles will be?
What?
I'm going to name it Musings by Light.
Wow.
That's exactly what he said. It's going to
Musings-
spark a light.
damn.
So it's going to be Musings by Light, because
Yeah.
it's going to be like musing mosaic, and it's going to branch off that. So it's Musings by Light.
Wow, that is nice.
Hopefully you'll see that soon, Coco.
Yes, no, 100%. We're manifesting it right here.
We're manifesting
That
it
is
right
awesome.
here.
And you've literally already created them. So it's the vision's there. It's all there. The
Yeah.
prototypes are here. I'm blessed to be one of the first
I
people to
really hope
receive
you
one.
like it.
I love it. I'm gonna. You watch some. I'll send you some Snapchats when I use it.
can't wait.
So
It does
it's-
look really good.
It's so nice.
Was
Is
that a
the-
good segue?
Yeah,
Coco
that
the
was
Conscious?
that was amazing. You did well. Is that the jar that you're gonna? You said you're gonna use a type of jar, a color. Is that
Spot on, actually. So I bought a lot of different jars,
Yeah.
and I think I might go with one that's a bit lighter.
Okay.
This
yeah.
one's a bit darker, which I do like, but I think it's a bit cold for my candles.
You need some.
So unfortunately, your prototype is not
Yeah,
going to be
it's
the
alright.
one that's
Hey,
going live.
It's perfect for me. It is.
This is a test jar.
Yeah, no, this is.
I think I'm going for like a much warmer amber. This
Yeah.
is a bit dark. Sorry, this is a bit cold for my
Yeah.
liking. It looks really nice when lit, but it has a really cold tone to it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that makes sense. You want to relay a warm. Yeah, basically what the
Yeah.
quotes give off.
Yeah, that's exactly
That's the
right.
same energy, yeah.
Same thing as like I want that same tone or the same color of like the light or a fire. So something more like orangey and more something closer to actually those colors of the buttons,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
That orangey
Warm colours.
warm
Yeah.
light.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
It's so amazing how you can just take, you know, like there's so much you can do with it, you know, so much like you can
Yeah.
play with in life with your own creativity.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's-
right. The only
yeah.
limitation is your mind.
Exactly. This is all working real time as well. We're seeing it. That's amazing, Yvonne. I love it. Thank you for like breaking this news here on
That's
the podcast.
okay.
That's huge. We're honored right here. This is so good.
Exclusivity.
Exclusive right now. That's mad. That's
I'm glad you like it.
so. Is there anything else that you got? Like
Nah,
you got
that's
other
it.
ideas coming?
Nah,
Maybe
that's
after.
it.
Maybe once the candles are made, something else will.
That's exactly right. We'll see how the candles go, and
Yeah,
then we'll
yeah.
see where I go from there.
I think they can go far.
Oh, I really
of
hope
course,
so.
100%.
I really hope so.
These are like the type of gifts that, like a lot of people I know love gifts like this.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah,
I
100%.
hope so.
These are those gifts, you know,
Those
that
gifts.
the ones that come from the heart. That,
Yeah, the ones that
you
come
know,
from the heart.
and that you have there all the time. And because whenever you use a candle, I feel like it's for something important. Not important. Well, yeah, important. Something like sacred.
That's right.
Well, when I use candles, normally what it's for.
Yeah.
Or like, something very meaningful. So it's just like
Meaningful.
pairing that with meaningful
Meaningful
words.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
I'm so happy.
Ayo.
Yeah, but this text actually, it's actually so it's like dishwasher safe and like it's
Yeah.
permanent. So if you ever do burn down the candle, feel free to reuse it into something else.
Oh
A
wow.
pen jar, a spice jar. This
Ah,
should stay pretty neatly on.
nice.
I hope.
So the jar is even. Wow.
Yeah.
That's wuss.
yeah.
That's so good because then you can have if it's like a pen jar, you can have the quotes in it.
That's exactly right. So hopefully this will stick with you for.
It will. I
duration
feel like it'll
of
last a long
time.
time as well. It's huge.
I hope so.
big-
and
it's
it's
a-
meaningful to you because hopefully it's Coco the Conscious.
It's on point.
You.
It's perfect. I can have like moments of writing and have this just
Yes.
burning. Oh,
Exactly.
Yvonne, thank you, man.
No,
That
that's
is
okay. You're
that's
welcome.
beautiful.
Thank
That's
you for having me.
oh, this is who knew the podcast would take this?
Too many emotions.
So I know, but it's like you said at the beginning. We all go through experiences. We all experience the same emotions.
100%.
That hit me
Yeah,
the
that
most
hit
so
you?
far. Yeah,
Oh,
that
I'm
one was
glad.
because it's true. It's so true.
Mm.
Yvonne, this has been awesome. I want one more quote before we wrap up and all
Sounds
that.
good.
If that's all right.
Of course.
And we'll do one more breakdown, and
Yep.
then we'll get into your where people can find you, where they can get the book and all that. We'll get there in a
Sounds
second.
good.
So I'm gonna find another quote here. So many. I got quite a few. There's just so
Show
many
me
good
your
ones.
favorites.
There's so many good ones. Oh, this regret one's good as well.
Oh, regret's a big one.
Yeah, this. Oh, don't suffer in silence. This one's good. Okay.
Yeah?
All right. Well, they're all good. I'm sorry, they're all good. But like this one.
Wow me.
Don't suffer in silence. The world deserves to know how far you've come and how much you have overcome. Every story is an inspiration, and yours could be just the one to turn someone else's life around.
Damn.
That's
a good one.
That is a good one. You wrote that. Yes. Give yourself a clap.
Wow.
Clap it up for Yvonne. Honestly, like that's like, because that's what people need to hear. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right. I think that's exactly what people need to hear. A lot of people suffer in silence. Our suicide rates are going up.
Yeah.
Like you said before, like men have this stigma of having to put on a brave face, right? Like everything's okay. You're not struggling with anything. Struggle is seen as weak. Vulnerability is seen as weak.
True.
And then when it's all too late, people start realizing that something's wrong, but that's when it's all too late. That's when you've suffered in silence for years and years on end. You're trying to suppress it. You don't talk to people. Yeah. There's a negative stigma of seeking therapy, of seeing psychologists. True. It's now slowly transitioning, right, to a more positive stigma. But the more you suffer in silence, the more you're really just destroying yourself. Yeah. And for example, if two people didn't share their trauma or their vulnerability, they can't connect over it. They can't overcome it, and then they're just wallowing in their own trauma, and it just becomes self-destructive. So that's just a reminder for people, myself, everyone around us, to really just share what you're going through. Vulnerability is seen as a strength, so that's a huge reminder.
Love that. Yeah, that's powerful. It's so true. And it's like when you have a lot up here, like for me, it's like writing it down. Probably for you, just getting it out there. Yeah. And that's like, it's like not letting it just sit there in silent noise in your head.
For sure.
That is.
And you know what, these days, like you said it yourself earlier when you said having a strong support network is everything. Not just for celebrating your wins, but also for pulling you out from your lows. When you don't have a strong support network, you know, when people ask, hey, how are you going? How often do you really have that conversation with people to really go deep into how you're really feeling, what you're struggling with, how that person can help you? Someone to just bounce your thoughts and ideas off. If you're just stuck in your own mind, in your own world, that can be a dark, dangerous place.
So true. Yeah.
You need that support group to not be with you through the highs, but just really pull you out from the lows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where the strong relationships are forged.
Yeah, it's true. You got to bounce it off some. Yeah. Because if you're
exactly
bouncing off yourself, you're not seeing it for all that it is.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And that's where most of the destruction happens.
Well said.
Yeah.
Wow, these breakdowns are as deep as the quotes.
I'm glad these quotes are speaking out to you. Actually, that's very meaningful to me.
These ones are heavy. These ones are they're powerful, man. I like this one. Last one. All right. It's not failure that kills your dreams. It's inaction.
Oh, that's a big one to me. That's a big one to me. And I can probably say a lot of people relate to it because we're so scared of failure. And again, why are we so scared of failure? Is it our own expectations? Is it society's expectations? Is it expectations that come from our family, our parents, the ones who bring us up? We're so scared of failing. Even when I started my candles thing, when I started writing a book, when I went public about all of this writing, I was so scared of failing. What if it didn't eventuate to anything? What if no one would read my quotes? What if everyone thought my quotes were stupid and boring and lame and they thought I was being over dramatic, for example? That was failure to me. But it's not failure that kills my dreams. It's not doing anything about it. So that was a huge call out to me. Yeah. Imagine you never did this, Coco. Imagine you never started. Imagine you never hired the studio. Imagine you never started your podcast, all because you were scared of not amounting to anything, or not being as good as you thought you were, or not having people receive you well. Screw all of that, right? You wouldn't be here right now if you just...
That's powerful. Yeah.
Took a shot at it.
It's so true.
Yeah. So don't think about the failure. Just do it. Because it's not doing it that kills all of your dreams.
I love that.
Just do it. Just
Goes
do
back
it.
to that Nike.
Exactly. Nike, just do it.
Do it.
If it's in your mind, just do it.
Yeah, exactly. Just go at it. Don't even worry about all the, because there's always going to be noise.
Yeah.
There's always going to be people that don't like something or have something to say. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Like, even like I'm a huge NBA fan. I love LeBron James. He's like, people still talk smack about this guy who's like one of the greatest ever. and they still find little things to try to pick. So it's like, it doesn't matter how great or you are, your skill or amazing, someone's still going to pick something.
People always talk smack. It's what's in here and what's in your heart that counts, right? You just got to do it.
It's so true. And if you know yourself, then all that noise doesn't really matter.
That's exactly
because no one can tell you how you are.
It's
if
your
you
life.
already know yourself. Exactly.
It's your life. Your choices, your life.
Yes, I love that failure one.
Yeah, you like it?
It's so true. There's a song I have, and I say there's no oh god, I better get my lyrics.
Can you sing it to me?
It's like I'm trying to remember what song it's in. I think it's in Step Into Greatness. But it's like only feedback, no failing.
Oh, I love that.
So it's just like, fuck failure, just like it's feedback, you know?
And do you know what's even more, I guess, trippy? Like, failure doesn't even exist. What's your definition of failure? That doesn't exist.
It's so true.
It's only your definition that makes it failure. It could be reworded into, like, you know, trial and error, a different opportunity. Those things don't exist.
Exactly.
It's just a redirection into your success.
Yes, exactly.
It's so easily said, but so hard to believe.
It's so ingrained. I feel like in like our mind, like it's just something that's just there. But like moments like this, talking about it, writing 100%. Quotes like that, you know what I mean? It helps people just snap back out of it. And
100%. It's like I just leveled up just by having this conversation with you about like wisdom or like life. It's
powerful. I know. This is what I was telling you about the podcast. I learned so like,
I can see what you mean now.
Yeah, and it's like it goes back to even how you're saying being present. Your present quote. It's like it forces you to be present, like these podcasts as well, because I have 100%. To sit here to listen to what you're saying. I have to ask the question. It's like how you said, is there a brief? Or I'm like, I like to go off the top, because then it forces me to be more present. So then I have the next question,
and it's more organic as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, and I know you're all about that organic, Coco.
Yeah, man.
All about that authenticity.
It's the authenticity, that organic stuff, and this has been an organic podcast.
100%.
Such a beautiful, heartfelt gift. I'm so grateful. This has been amazing.
Like it.
It's been powerful. So many like nuggets. These quotes are amazing. The book. Where can everyone get the book? That's Amazon, right?
Yes, Amazon. The book is on Amazon. But for Australia, you can also find it on my website. So just musingmosaic.com. But for global Australia, anywhere, Amazon.com.
Nice.
Little pick me up.
Little pick me up, fam. If you need a little pick me up, or just support Yvonne. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. Have you heard this podcast? Have you heard the quotes? Even follow what's your Instagram page?
The Instagram is Musing Mosaic.
Musing Mosaic, yes. Yep. What last thing before the Musing Mosaic, where did that
that is a great question.
I was supposed to lead with that actually, but it came back. Yeah,
that's a great question. So the meaning behind the name. So musings is obviously my thoughts.
Yeah.
So all of these quotes I have, it all stems from a thought, right? A thought and a feeling. But a feeling usually then transcends into a thought.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling upset, if I'm feeling grateful, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, any of those things, it kind of just, your brain and your heart is connected, right? So when you feel something, it goes into a thought. So all of these quotes that I'm writing, it all comes from a thought, whether it's a thought to improve myself, or a thought to lower my expectations, or a thought to live in the present moment, or a thought to change the definition of what failure means to me. That's where I got the musings from, because that's what essentially where it's coming from and what I'm writing out. With Mosaic, that's a bit of a trickier one, and I've actually come to realize that not a lot of people know what the word mosaic means.
When I think of mosaic, I think of, I was gonna ask
what do you think of?
I think of for some reason I'm thinking primary school. There was a wall.
Yeah.
And
you're on the right track.
And it was like they called it the wall mosaic or something, and it was just like a wall of lots of patterns and little things stuck on it.
You're on the right track.
The mosaic wall of friendship. That was a song. It's wild. It was a song, and it had that for the school, my primary school.
Wow.
And then one of the lyrics was the mosaic wall of friendship.
That's incredible.
So
a bit of a tangent, but how incredible is it that something so long ago, that just specific memory, can just carry with us through life? It's wild. Right? Like,
it's wild.
The person or the teacher who created that song or created that wall mosaic, who knew 20 years now we'd be talking about it and referring to it on a podcast? Like, it's just crazy how special these moments can be, and how much you can impact someone else's life without really knowing it. But you're on the right track. So a mosaic is, how I understand it, a pattern or a collaboration of, it's pretty much like a puzzle piece of things put together. It can be like jagged pictures, different colored shapes and things, just kind of all stuck together to form this one beautiful artwork or this ornament.
Wow.
So the reason why it's Musing Mosaic is it's a mosaic of all of my words. All of these quotes that I'm just writing, all of these quotes I'm dishing out, it's all a mosaic of each and every one of my quote, and then together it becomes this holistic, bigger picture, this bigger painting.
Yes.
So I like that they both start with M. It kind of sounds a bit more unique.
Of course.
So Musing Mosaic that's where the name was born.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the backstory as well. That's as you were saying the mosaic one, what was coming to me is another thing. This is just a little something. I don't know if you could do something with it, but I was thinking art, like an actual mosaic of your words. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just giving you a little thing, and then you can just, I don't know, build on it maybe later.
That'd be incredible.
But something like...
Imagine one day walking into a room and just like an artwork stuck on there. That would be like...
An exhibition.
Dream come
thinking like
true.
An exhibition. A proper... Yeah, of just like all your... Maybe later, tap into that creativity. I don't know, do you paint?
Unfortunately, I don't.
Yeah. But you never know. Someone might be a painter and be inspired by, your work, your book, and then who knows, it could be a collaboration or
exciting.
So many things that could be done.
Things. It's the beauty of life, right?
Yeah, it's so true. Oh, I love it. So that's the name. Awesome.
That's the name.
So the book, it's your name as who it's by, or is it by?
It's Musing Mosaic by Yvonne Diep. Yeah, so I wanted to put my personal name on it. It's kind of the whole thing of owning up to my work and not really hiding behind this Musing Mosaic anymore. Yeah. But at the same time, I wanted to tie it to all of the work on my Instagram, so Musing Mosaic. So it's me writing under the name of Musing Mosaic. Yeah. So both of my names are on there.
Nice. Yeah. I love it. It's such like a full circle.
It is.
Because at the beginning you were saying
that's exactly right.
You didn't really put your name there, and then now it's just like we can both coexist.
That's exactly
together.
That's exactly right. We can now both safely coexist.
I love it. I love it. That is so... Oh, Yvonne, what a powerful podcast. This is so good. Is there anything you'd like to leave everyone with? Any like last words?
I want to leave people with maybe just one thing, and this is what I learned recently, is that and I've actually been sharing this to all of my friends lately, is there was one thing I learned lately, and it's one thing that makes us happier as humans, and they said that it's why most people when they're older, this is what they lack, and this is why they're unhappy. And the answer to this is meaningful relationships and connections. It's not money, it's not beautiful cars, houses, fame. It's meaningful connections, and it's meaningful relationships. And I guess I just want to leave it with really put the work in to have those relationships, to build those relationships, whether it be one friend, your family, a small circle of friends, whether it be a coworker that you really like, or an old friend that you haven't spoken to. Maintaining those strong connections, something I'm working on myself, is going to make you so much more fulfilled in life. And as you grow older and you lose things and things change and disaster happens, I think meaningful connections is what will make our heart fulfilled. So that's the one thing I'm leaving you guys with. That's what I'm working on. Meaningful connections.
I love that. You have a quote like that.
I think I do.
And it's crazy because I read it the other day.
Really?
And it made me, when I was compiling the quotes, and it made me call someone.
Really? No way.
And just be like, man, I haven't talked to my guy, in a while, and it was one of your quotes of
wow. And that would have made your friend feel so valued, so special, and just so happy to know that you reached out to him.
And it's funny because we both needed that like conversation. And it was because of that. I'm trying to see if I saved it.
That's okay.
But it was that quote. It was just like that cultivate meaningful relationship, something like that.
100%.
And it was just...
That is the magic, I think.
That's true currency. That's true.
100%.
Yeah. I love it. That's a perfect way. Yvonne, thank you so much for blessing us here on the podcast. We're going to have you back. We're going to have you back when all the candles are up and going. We will, for sure. We'll do a part 2. And just thank you so much. Thank you for the gift.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being so open and gifting us with the quotes, the book. And I'm gonna get the book, and we'll post. When I do the post, I'll post a little book picture with it. And did you bring the book? No,
I didn't.
I should have reminded you. No,
I wish I did.
Say take a picture with the book.
I really wish I did.
I'll take a picture with the candle. But thank you so much.
That's okay.
And we're gonna run it back. Fam, this has been Midnight Moods, conscious conversations, real talk with real ones. A real one today. Yvonne, thank you so much. Till next time, fam. Much love. Peace.
Bye.
See ya.
The